Okay, so we are going to go over our cell organelles worksheet now. So please make sure you have that available so that you can check it and make sure you have all the correct information. We're then going to go through a few questions. And again, I will embed these right into PlayPosit and you'll be answering them and then I'll review them. Afterwards, if you feel like you need some more review on this stuff, because it is kind of a lot of information, especially if you haven't had this information before last year, if you came in new to SPCS. There is another video on PlayPosit that's a nice review of cells, so you can go right ahead and get into that. If you wanted to do more practice with questions, we've got a part 1. You can kind of just sift through and see if there's any cell questions on there and then check those questions to the teacher's key. So whatever you need in order to get some more review, please use it. So please take out your worksheet and let's follow along here. Okay, so the cell wall is first. It's rigid, tough, and made of cellulose. And this is the protection for the cell. And this is only found in the plant cell. So if there's ever a question, there's 2 things that are only in a plant cell, and one of them is the cell wall. It does not occur in an animal cell. The next is the cell membrane. It's thin, it protects cells, performs active transport and passive transport. So this moves the materials in and out, and it also serves as communication. So the cell membrane is like the cell wall for the animal cell. The plant cell has a cell membrane as well, but it's like the surrounding of it. The cytoplasm is like the inside, the jelly-like substance that holds all of the organelles. It supports all the organelles inside the cell, and it's in both an animal and plant. The nucleus, this is something you definitely need to know, is the nucleus. It's a ball-shaped structure and it contains the DNA. And this is like the brain of the cell. It controls all the cell's activities, and it's in both an animal and a plant cell. The endoplasmic reticulum is a clear tubular system, and it runs throughout the cells. They transport materials like proteins around the cell. They're in both plant and animal. Ribosomes, small specks made of RNA. You'll learn all about RNA next year. Found in cytoplasm or on the endoplasmic reticulum, and they make proteins. They're in both the animal and plant. Mitochondria, located in the cytoplasm, they're bean-shaped. They supply energy, and they're in both the animal and plant. The vacuole, which is a large storage area. They are smaller in animal cells, but it's still pretty big. Storage tank for food, water, waste, or enzymes, and they're in both plants and animal. The chloroplast, this is what contains the chlorophyll, which captures the sunlight for photosynthesis. So this is how a plant makes its own food, is through the chloroplast. So it's just in the plant cell. And the lyosome is the small round structures. They contain enzymes, digest older cell parts, food, and other objects, and they're in both the plant and animal. So if you weren't correct on any of these things, it's fine. Just make sure that you're correct now. You can pause it and make sure that you are updated on here. Next, I have some more eDoctrina questions here. So let me just scroll down past human body. Okay, first question. What is the outermost structure in a plant cell? I'm going to have these embedded right in PlayPosit so you can answer on the side, and then we'll review it after you're done. If you chose 3, cell wall, you're correct. And again, this is only in the plant cell. The cell membrane would be the one around the animal cell. Which which sequence correctly shows the levels of increasing organization in the human body? Now, we didn't talk about this, but we did talk about, though, are 2 of these things. If you haven't gotten the human systems yet, the PlayPosit, we are going to talk about that. So I want to see if you guys know this first, so try it, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. Okay, it talks about increasing organization. So you start off at the smallest, which is the cell. The cells together are tissues, and then the tissues form organs, and then the organ systems are what we talked about. The organ systems are the endocrine and digestive and things like that. So the organ systems are the largest and the cells are the smallest. Okay, here's a cell. It contains a cell wall and a nucleus. So what organism would this cell be found in? If you chose plants, you're correct. Cell wall is your big giveaway there. Okay, 4 different living organisms are shown below. Which statement is true for all the organisms? Now again, this is something else we haven't talked about between singular and multicellular organisms. So that's a little hint there. Okay, so if you chose number 3, you are correct. The amoeba, it is not a multicellular organism. However, everything else is multicellular. The amoeba is single cell, but it does contain at least one cell. So remembering that amoeba is single-celled. Okay, a plant cell and an animal cell are shown below. What conclusion can be made from these diagrams? This is showing reproduction. Okay, again, we have not talked about this yet, but let's see how you do, and we'll talk about it after. Okay, so what's going through each answer? Plant and animal cells interact to make new organisms. You can't really tell from this picture. Plant and animal cells are similar in the way they grow and divide. All cells divide in this way. Okay, they you can see that you're going to learn all about this interaction inside the cell, and then they divide into 2 other cells. This is how all cells grow and divide. So so that is actually the answer. Animal cells require oxygen to release the energy stored in food, while plant cells do not, is not correct. And nerve cells are present in plant and animal cells. That isn't, well, I guess they kind of trip you up with these lines here, but that does not indicate nerve cells. So this is showing cell division. Okay, so this shows a diagram. There's a short answer here. Which cell part directs the activities of the cell? You have your key here with all of your options. And if you said nucleus, you are correct. Down here, you're identifying 2 cell parts that indicate this diagram represents a plant cell and not an animal cell. So what 2 things in this picture show that it's a plant cell? Okay, if you said cell wall and chloroplast, you're correct. The chloroplast is, again, the hub of photosynthesis. Okay, number 21. The diagrams show 2 cells in some of their structures. List 2 structures that are found in both plant and animal cells. So go ahead and answer that. So any of the answers except for chloroplast and cell wall would have been good. So any of these other things, because these 2 are the only things that are just present in the plant cell. And if you just compared them and looked at the key, this is a way to answer that. Even if you didn't know, if you couldn't remember the cell wall and chloroplast, just looking at these pictures and looking at the key, you can identify which 2 are only in the plant cell. And then which structure is shown in the plant cell diagram is the site of photosynthesis? If you said chloroplast, good job. Again, you can look at this picture and see which ones are only in the plant cell. That's the cell wall and the chloroplast. You know, the cell wall is at the outer edge, and then that leaves just the chloroplast for the photosynthesis. And then, which cell structure shown in the diagrams contains genetic material? Here's the picture again. If you said nucleus, good job. All the genetic material and the brain of the cell. And finally, this table shows some information about common plant cell structures and their functions. There are 3 blank spaces. Fill in the 3 blanks by writing the name of the plant cell structure that performs the function described. So you need to figure out which one directs the cell's activities, including reproduction, which one captures energy from sunlight to make food, and which one protects and supports the cells. So if you said nucleus, chloroplast, and cell wall, you are correct. So you're seeing a theme here, hopefully, at this point. They talk about nucleus all the time. You have to know that this is the director of the cell activities. Oops. You also have to know that the chloroplast and cell wall are only a part of the plant cell. So as long as you know those things, you're in good shape. Again, go over to the other Play Pause video if you need some more review. All right?